This one's been anticipated for a very long time in War Thunder. The B-26 Marauder is finally, after all these years, going to come to War Thunder. Let's take a look at what you got coming. The B-26 Marauder was a twin-engine, shoulder-winged, all-metal monoplane medium bomber designed by the Glenn L. Martin Company for the United States Army Air Corps. Designed in 1939 with first flight in late 1940, the Marauder was accepted into service in 1941 and produced through 1945 with a total of 5,288 built. Unlike many other aircraft of the era, the B-26 had a relatively small wing area with high wing loading, which required a higher than normal approach and landing speed. Early pilots were not experienced with these landing speeds, and some early accidents resulted in a poor reputation for the airframe, with nicknames such as Widowmaker, the Flying Coffin, and some rather spicier versions that I'm not going to mention on YouTube. Nevertheless, after extensive retraining, the vehicle reported the lowest combat loss rate of any U.S. aircraft of World War II. The plane served in all theaters of the war and was used by American, British, and French forces. All B-26 Marauders were withdrawn from service by 1947. Some units, though, managed to get a nice post-war career as corporate or private sector transports. Now, there were a couple of stories that caught my eye involving the B-26 Marauder. For instance, during a bombing run over Bavaria on April 20th, 1945, pilot James Vining slid out of formation to attempt to engage an attacking Me-262 jet. As the B-26s began what was intended to be a 4-minute bomb run on Memmingen, Me-262 jets tore into the bombing formation. The lead Marauder was destroyed. All hell broke loose, Lieutenant Colonel Louis Rare said later. Pieces of fuselage and wing were flying all around us, along with smaller pieces that looked like confetti. While the lead plane was still coming apart, Vining decided to fight back. Vining slid his Marauder out of formation in order to draw a bead on one of several Me-262s that were streaking past. Vining squeezed off a short burst, but cannon fire from another Me-262 caught Vining's B-26. The crack of an explosion in the cockpit stunned him. Hit, but feeling no pain, Vining realized his B-26 was falling now, its right propeller windmilling. Vining turned control over to his co-pilot, jettisoned bombs, feathered the right propeller, and trimmed rudder to counter the yaw. Jim Vining looked down at his right foot, dangling from his leg by remnants of flesh. The cockpit floor was slick with his blood. His radio operator improvised a tourniquet from a headset cord. He actually talked his co-pilot, who was far less experienced than he was, into single-engine operation for this highly technical to fly airplane. And they managed to actually bring it down mostly intact. Actually, there was a tank trench in the field that they actually were landing in, and the plane nosed into it and broke up at that point. But hey, they managed to bring it down. The plane crash-landed near U.S. Army medics, ironically, positively, who transported Vining to a hospital in France. He survived the war with his leg amputated below the knee and recovered the ability to walk and fly again. The second story took place on June 4th, 1942, 150 miles northwest of Midway. Pilot Lieutenant James Murray took off from Midway to attack the Japanese fleet maneuvering towards them. During his attack run, Murray's B-26 was attacked by Zeros, and 3 men were wounded. However, he managed to launch his torpedo at the aircraft carrier Akagi anyway, while under heavy fire from the ship's anti-aircraft guns. Murray then buzzed the flight deck of the Akagi in an attempt to evade additional fire, flying lower than treetop level. The B-26 managed to return to Midway and crash-landed. Repair crews counted more than 500 bullet holes in the stricken bomber. This attack, along with the actions of TBF Avengers and other B-26 Marauders, caused Admiral Nagumo to alter his battle plan, setting the stage for the incredible American victory at the Battle of Midway. Now let's move on to the tech specs. The B-26B and C models were 58 feet 3 inches long, 21 feet 6 inches tall, 71-foot wingspan with an empty weight of 24,000 pounds. Two Pratt & Whitney R2843 double WASP engines produced 2,000 horsepower for a top speed of 282 miles per hour at 15,000 feet. It was armed with 12 .50 calibers, including 4 forward-firing guns for the pilot to use and 2 each for the nose, turret, tail, and ventral turrets. The Marauder could carry 4,000 pounds of bombs or a 2,000-pound aerial torpedo. It was crewed by 7 men, including pilot, co-pilot, navigator, radio operator, who doubled as a gunner, a turret gunner, waist gunner, and tail gunner. Actually, I think it was the navigator that doubled as a turret operator. In War Thunder, the B-26 Marauder will be coming in 2 versions, the B and the C, both at the U.S. Rank 3 bomber tree. I'm going to note that the Devblog does indicate there are only 7 guns in various turrets and 5 in the nose, but the Glenn L. Martin Aviation Museum reports 4 in the nose, 8 in the various gunner positions. To make things even more confusing, another source entirely reports only 11 guns in total. As published, though, the B-26 coming to War Thunder will have 5 fixed forward-firing guns, with 7 in the various gunner positions. Note that there were changes from the A and the previous, non-lettered models, and the later models have different armament as well. So that's the B-26 Marauder. I have to admit, I'm a sucker for World War II era bomber aircraft. And I'm excited about the B-26 Marauder. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Is the Marauder something that's going to get you excited about the patch? I don't know. I don't know if I'm excited about the patch or just nice to see this aircraft finally arrive. You have a great rest of your day, and we will see you in War Thunder.